us for JD Advising's MPRE course. To get started, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Megan Jabori, and I'll be leading you along the way throughout the MPRE course. I'm JD Advising's lead course instructor and tutor. I not only lead this course, but I also lead our bar prep courses, such as the Michigan bar exam as well as the uniform bar exam. And I also help with private tutoring for both the MPRE as well as bar prep. So getting back to the MPRE and this course, most people sign up to take the MPRE because they know they have to. They know it's a step along the way to get licensed to ultimately practice law. But what is it? What does it actually test? And how do you prepare? So let's chat about that for a second. The National Conference of Bar Examiners write and administers the MPRE. And they administer this exam usually in the months of August, October, and March. The MPRE stands for the Multi-State Professional Responsibility Exam. And according to the NCBE website, the purpose of the MPRE is to measure an examinee's knowledge and understanding of the established standards related to the professional conduct of lawyers. The MPRE tests the disciplinary rules of professional conduct that you can find in the American Bar Association's Model Rules of Professional Conduct, as well as the ABA Model Rules of Judicial Conduct. It also tests the controlling constitutional decisions as well as the generally accepted principles established in both leading federal and state cases, as well as in our procedural and evidentiary rules. So please take note that the MPRE will not test your state-specific rules regarding professional conduct or ethics. So the MPRE is composed of 60 multiple choice questions. 50 of those 60 questions are scored, and you have 2 hours to complete this exam. So that means while you're answering all of these questions, you'll encounter 10 experimental questions. Most people report that they can't tell the difference between a scored question or an experimental question. So it's best that you try to answer as many questions as you possibly can. This exam is scored on a scale of 50 to 150, and each jurisdiction has the ability to set their own passing score. So you should make sure you check in with your jurisdiction to determine what you need to be considered passing. But something that I want to clarify, this is something that we get a lot of questions on. Let's say you're in a state like Michigan, where our passing score is the score of an 85. What does that really mean? Does that mean you need an 85% to be considered passing? And the answer is no. Remember, I just said this exam is scaled from 50 to 150. So if you're in a place like Michigan that has the score of an 85 as our passing score, this means you're shooting for the scaled score of an 85 out of that 50 to 150 scale. So if you were taking practice tests in trying to evaluate whether or not you were in the passing range, you would be shooting to get about 32 to 34 of your 50 questions correct, or about a 64%. That would usually yield you that scaled score of an 85 on that scale of 50 to 150. So hopefully that clarifies that question. Remember, please check in with your local jurisdiction to determine what is considered passing. So for the rest of this course, we're going to be tackling the rules section by section. We won't cover every single rule, but rather we'll cover those highly tested rules and those rules that people often ask many questions about. So let's get started.